Welcome back to this second hour of Hereticus, and we have a we have a conversation with a commissar coming up. He's just
He would be a commissar, wouldn't it?
I suppose. But yeah, he's as you address him, he's attentive and.
Of course. Well, that's pretty much what Francesca tells him, is that she needs this rundown of the situation, and then I'm sure he's got something in writing somewhere. A list of the various regiments' state of being, or he might even have them memorized for all I know.
He does. So the first thing he does is he goes to the nearest cogitator and speaks to the tech priest, who answers in binary. That's not binary, but tech priest things.
I don't know what that was, but it wasn't binary.
No, it wasn't binary. But tech speak.
It sounds like that. Great! It sounds like dial-up sped up to really horrible grating sound.
It really
basically.
does. It really does. And the tech priest is able to print out a list for him, and you will notice that list, or those lists, because there's more than one, are fairly long. And he returns to you, and he starts his report. And basically, there are 15 regiments, loyalist regiments, currently stationed on the Piety. One of them can no longer be considered a full regiment. It has been that damaged. The rest of them are still relatively. They aren't full numbered, of course, but they are still relatively intact. Morale-wise, he's actually somewhat impressed by the high morale within the regiments. He would have expected that, since they were fighting their fellow fusiliers, that morale would be low and desertion would be high. But that is not the case.
That's because people like to murder.
People like to murder, apparently. Yeah. There is.
They are planning something.
They are planning something, indeed.
Or they're feeling betrayed.
Yes. Lots of possibilities.
Feels justified in murdering them because they were badasses.
Yeah. There is one regiment, specifically the 8th Regiment. The 8th Fusiliers, as it's officially known, where morale has been pretty much non-existent. On multiple occasions, they've actively refused to fight the enemy.
Burn them.
But that is the only regiment where the commissar feels there's an actual problem. He and his fellow commissars, there are more commissars than just this one, have been forced on occasion to do their commissar work, which is basically put a last pistol to the head of some dissenting Gospel.
If you will not serve on the front line, you will serve on the firing line.
Yep, exactly.
Classic. I mean, if it's bad enough that the entire regiment is still refusing to fight, you could go a step further and step it up to full-on decimation of the regiment.
Yeah.
That is unlikely to repair morale. I do ask him or Francesca does ask him if the regiment that has been severely damaged, she assumes that is not the 8th.
No, that is not the 8th. That is that is the 12th Regiment.
All right. And she says, well, the 12th Regiment, if they have taken significant casualties, I expect that there are also plenty of examples of, well, personal and unit-based bravery to be extolled within that particular regiment.
Oh, most certainly, most certainly. And that is certainly something we're planning on. We're going to take advantage of these heroic acts within that regiment. That is, yeah.
May I suggest if I assume it's already been done, but otherwise I would suggest decorations for some of the most heroic. It always helps to show the rank and file that they can aspire to become greater in the eyes of the God Emperor.
Oh, absolutely, and we've also made up a list of promotions and so on. And we've also acquired some new and upgraded gear for some of the men we're going to spotlight.
Castlekin style.
Yes, exactly. So we are doing several things at the moment. We only just arrived a few weeks ago, so we're still gathering intel, but we've begun the initial, and this is relatively standard fare for us in terms of what we're going to do about this, but still any kind of input is more than welcome from the Inquisition.
Of course. I will obviously study the lists that you have prepared here, and I will definitely, like with the general, I will be back with further questions, I'm sure.
Certainly, you're more than welcome to.
And then she looks to the rest of her team and says, "I think we should go to our own quarters and make initial plans."
Indeed.
And she does look at Achelon for a while as she says so, and then as she, as they leave the room, once they are actively out of the room, she puts a hand on his shoulder. Says, "I admire your comportment in there. This must be a horror for you to behold."
Yes. Certainly a horror.
Good. Well, not good, but it's good that you can admit it. And she continues to walk, obviously, until they get to where they've been quartered.
I mean, yes. He's probably shaking imperceptibly now that they're out of the room, and his fists are clenched. Certainly, this place, this planet, as humble as it may have been in its way, was a place of life and colour and music and devotion, and now it is nothing but ash.
We shall do everything we can to avenge that, I assure you.
Yes.
She looks to the other two as well, and says, "I imagine that this is also well, I won't say shocking, because I don't think anything really shocks you, Tim.
He's rogues.
But I would imagine that it is somewhat unpleasant to see this destroyed, especially since we know that it has happened over a relatively short span of time."
I have no reference to what it looked like before,
I think we
so
will
I
be
can't
able
really
to-
tell.
I will be able to bring that up. If there's a cogitator in our rooms, I should be able to bring up images of what it used to look like.
Yes. Should like to do the same.
Of course. Well, do we get to our purpose?
Yeah, sure.
Is there a cogitator?
No!
Is there a cogitator? Yes, I think there is. I think there would be, because you are the Inquisition, and
Yes.
yes.
Well, in that case, as I said, Francesca will bring up some kind of holographic projection of what the piety of Seth looked like before we arrived.
Green fields, white stone,
Blue oceans.
blue oceans, clear skies.
This was a beautiful place. She says that.
Yes, it was.
It's rather unlike anything I've experienced.
But it was for most of its existence. It was an agri world, a place where this planet once would have fed this entire part of this entire subsector. I think now that it's gone, well, and then you have with all the history surrounding Seth the person that inspired the change of its name and the culture of devotion that came later. Well, it was on its way to becoming a true shrine world, had it been allowed to persist.
Did we get pictures of what it looked like before, or...?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
That's what we're looking at right now.
I think Medea is mostly fascinated. The ground is a weird color.
Sorry.
Yes.
Not that she says it out loud, but she is staring at it with a "what the fuck is that?"
Yep.
look in her eye. Completely disbelieving what the fuck it is, and there's also weird things that isn't even a building that has green stuff on top. That's still weird.
Yes, Akalon will probably actually find some pictures of on the surface pre-war, so like the fields of crops and the clear skies and things like that. And,
Well, she has found out that the sun is not actually a light bulb.
no,
Yes.
but even so, the air in Scintilla is going to be very polluted compared to the air in Piety
Oh,
of
God,
Seth.
yes.
I mean, for a start, you look at a night sky in Piety of Seth, there will be stars everywhere, whereas in Scintilla it would just be like a black gunk.
Yeah,
Yes.
it would be light pollution and gunk.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
So she will be
only place-
staring in disbelief at the picture.
The only place in any of the hives on Scintilla where you would be able to see stars would be in the highest levels of the spire, which extends beyond the atmosphere. That it's high enough, after all, that it actually, the top of the spire sticks out into actual space. And out there, obviously, you would be able to see stars. But that's for the mega, super, exceptionally, fantabulastically rich.
Such as the sector governor hacks.
Exactly, hacks.
Hey, what's that? She points at something that looks like a cow.
Would be a grox, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it would be, but yeah.
Some
Same-
kind of farm animal that
Same
she
principle.
thinks is something that's not actually real.
it's a grox. It was a cattle animal. They were kept on farms, and then they were useful for various foodstuffs.
Meat
Meat, yes, we killed them for the meat.
and milk. You'd use the hide, I imagine, for leather.
Oh yes, many a fine pair of boots were made off of the leather of a grox. and then Akalon actually taps his own boots as he's doing that.
I am.
Is this
Then-
from a dead animal? She points at her leather arm.
Probably.
It might be synth leather, but yes, otherwise it would be.
No, she's actually wearing carapace. She got new armor.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, in that case, no. Carapace is made of
Plasteel.
plasteel and occasionally ceramite.
Yes.
Oh, not giant
But-
insects.
But that's only body and head, so the rest would still be. She would be carrying something that resembles leather boots.
Well, the only options, considering where it came from, are either going to be synth leather or human leather.
Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't know how to sew, so it wouldn't be human leather.
Mm-hmm.
That said, hold on, I cannot begin to express my sympathy with you for being in this situation. It is grotesque to hold something like this from up above.
Indeed. And I don't deny that it does affect me, but I am not unique in having this tragedy happen to me, not even in regards to the people on this planet.
Of course not. But you are the only one in this group who has a personal connection to the piety of self, and consequently your well-being is important.
I feel about as old as I am right now.
You're old?
I actually believe I'm 41 years of age today. Not today, but these days, at this time, yes.
Yeah, you are old.
Yes. Certainly feel it. Oh, this...
Joan, the player, who is 42, is not impressed, but yes.
Well, he is talking to Medea, where the
Yes.
average death time is around 20.
Yes.
Yes, and Joan the player, for all the trials and tribulations of her life, is not quite in the situation of having her home planet been scorched.
And also, she's never seen or been somewhere that's that green, so to her, it's like seeing a picture of something you can't really comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
Like a child seeing a picture of a dog with no other references. It's like, it's something someone drew, it's fake.
I will take I will take this weight, I will take this grief I feel and sharpen it into a blade and put it in the heart of my enemy.
That's a good idea.
You can do that?
I
It's
think as a psyker, you might actually be able to.
That's
Yes.
why I'm asking.
I could do it. In fact, I have been practicing something like that, but mostly it was metaphorical. But give it time, and I'll get there.
Okay.
And there's what
It'll
was that?
look cool, though.
And you know, I'm too tired to remember the quote properly, and that's terrible. I should.
It's fine. It's fine not to give 140,000% every time, Chris.
I don't want to shame myself in the eyes of the Emperor if I do not know these words.
Kalon, you have just witnessed a tremendous tragedy. Do not hold it against yourself.
Thank you.
I am not going to hold it against you if you are at a loss for words in a situation. Anybody would. I cannot begin to think what it would be like if I came back to Ophelia 4 and saw it in something like this situation, or Talon and saw it reduced to a smoldering rubble heap instead of endless golden deserts. I would never be able to. I have no idea how I would react. I think you're handling this with remarkable.
Wow.
Your poker face is almost as good as Tim's.
It's the psycho training. We have to maintain control, or else madness ensues.
We will. Oh, sorry, Tim, please.
That's similar to sniper training, I suppose. Emotions get in the way, and the slightest shake of the hand.
As I was about to say, we are here on 2 missions. and the completion of either, or indeed both, will not in themselves be full and valid revenge for what had happened here, but we will do our part towards getting a measure of justice for the pious death. And
Yes.
it is, as you know, it is pleasing to the God Emperor to seek rightful and justified revenge for wrongs done to the Imperium and this majority.
Very true.
I do intend, because as I did tell the Inquisitor, we should make plans. I do intend to visit and see for myself the state of morale within the 8th Fusiliers.
Yes.
It's obviously completely unacceptable to have that kind of situation going on, and quite frankly, if the regiment is incapable of doing its duty to the Imperium, the regiment can be transformed into a penal battalion of extraordinary size. I don't personally care, but they will make excellent mine clearers if we have to.
Yeah.
If I have to take all their last rifles away from them and have them march across every single minefield in front of Port Hadley, then so be it. They will either serve or they will die.
Is it even worth it?
Oh, sorry, please.
Is it even worth letting them have their las rifles?
Their last rifles away from them if it comes to that.
Yes, well, at this point, I rather think the las rifle is worth more than their lives could ever be.
Indeed, but let's...
Yeah, what's up with their insubordination? Seriously.
Yeah, I have no idea, but considering that the 12th has taken massive casualties and still remains willing to serve and in good spirits, normally the Imperial Guard is not exactly... I mean, the Imperial Guard is neither the Adeptus Astartes or the Adeptus Sororitas, obviously, in terms of morale. This is why they have such people as commissars or preachers attached to their ranks to keep up their spirits and constantly remind them of their duty. That's part of it's part of the way the organization works.
It is.
But it's
well,
also...
then maybe they failed horribly and we have to look at them instead.
That is also... Well, not instead, but also. It does strike me as problematic that the commissars attached to the 8th have been lax in that if they have repeatedly refused to follow orders and go into battle, then if they are still unwilling to go into battle, the commissars of that regiment are at fault. That is unacceptable.
Is it also possible that there may be internal corruption? Some agent of the enemy might be among their ranks, inspiring this.
I do think that's a very likely scenario. I would not be surprised in the least if that is what has happened. It would be a clever way of spreading dissent within the ranks. Let's face it, if there are about 30,000 men in such a regiment, hiding in the ranks is easy.
Indeed.
But again, if that is the case, the commissars have not been up to the task of their duties, because their duty is then to go through the ranks, one guardsman at a time if they have to, until they find the problem. And they haven't done so.
How long had that been going on, Heine?
Apparently. Sorry.
Out of game, they've, according to Commissar Hester, they've been here for a couple of weeks, a few weeks. I said, yeah, I think I said.
Yes, a few weeks, but they are still. You also said that they had repeatedly refused.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed.
So it can't even be battle fatigue because 2 weeks. There are campaigns out there where guardsmen are involved in fighting on a daily
Yep.
basis for years at a time.
At any
So-
rate, it was just to find out how
No.
long they've actually been here and how long
Oh,
they've
yeah.
been refusing. If it's from the beginning of, it's weird.
Well,
Yeah,
some
it
of the regiments have been there for longer, but the 8th have been placed in or been stationed in on the piety for roughly 2 weeks.
Anything?
Also, in fear of actually jinxing it, sound has been okay today.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
That's all right. Well, at least we heard her say it, so
That's
Throw salt at her!
I'll say this. Yeah, Ackle thinks about it as considering what we know of the Scintillant Fusiliers, that they have something of a reputation for being pampered, shall we say, by other guard regiment standards. Is it possible that this particular regiment might be made up of the more
That is entirely possible, yes. That
well-to-do
they are
sons of
used
Scintilla?
they are used to having things their way if they are from the higher echelons in on Scintilla, then they would not expect, quite likely they would not expect to ever have to actually get dirty themselves, but even so, it is an unacceptable behavior.
Indeed. It
They
does
are
us good.
guardsmen first and foremost. In fact, they are, when they have donned their uniform, they belong to the guard. Literally.
Yes.
So is that Medea putting up a paw?
Yo, that's me waiting for a pause.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, there's a pause now.
Medea looks slightly annoyed. And she finally just spills it. I mean, seriously? Even if it's because they have family among the rebels here, it doesn't give them any reason to not do it.
Nope.
If
No.
they're working for the wrong cause, they should be stopped no matter what.
Indeed.
That is why we are here.
Yes.
Had Pilsa turned to chaos and come against me, I would have offed her immediately.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
It's not one
When
thing,
when we reach that regiment, she says and looks at the others. I intend to. I assume that they are gathered somewhere, seeing as they can't be put to the front line. When we get there, I will want to see if they have a spokesman. I would not be surprised if they had elected someone to speak for them and to air their grievances. And if that is the case, I will call that person forward.
Can I shoot him?
Actually, I intended to put a bolt in his head. But
That's
don't
why I
have-
asked if I could shoot him first,
I
so he
don't-
didn't
I
just
don't-
do it.
Yes, I don't have a. Actually, that might work. But make it clinical. Just walk up next to him, put your gun to his head, and pull the trigger. Just step right up next to him, and then I'll do the talking.
Okay.
Any of the rest of you have any? I should like for you, Tim, in that case, to level your rifle at anyone who makes any attempt to step forward and aid the man that is getting shot. And if they take more than a single step forward, I want you to shoot them.
In plain view or from hiding?
In plain view.
He nods.
They are to understand that as long as they are part of the Imperial Guard, their lives are completely unimportant. If the Imperial Guard decides to throw them en masse against the fortification of the enemy for the next regiment to walk up their corpses, they are to do so without complaint. I am in fact, I respect that the general has taken upon himself to besiege the men in Port Hadley. It is a lengthy process, obviously, but it does show that he has genuine concern for the lives of his men. And the fact that he's not needlessly throwing them away in frontal attack after frontal attack against a heavily fortified position full of enemy, desperate enemies even, is good tactics in this situation. And quite frankly, that these men are unwilling to follow orders, even given by a commander who is that willing to take their safety into consideration, is of rank cowardice. So I think that's pretty much...
The bloody disgrace is what it is.
Yes, it is. It is a bloody disgrace. And I am actually, she says and looks at Medea, I am actually incredibly pleased that you, over the course of this past year, have come to grasp the importance of that. I really, that is excellent.
Why wouldn't I? They took me from a hellhole and made me
Indeed.
something that had a actual purpose.
Indeed.
I mean, I like to think I helped a little bit, says Athon, looking at Medea.
I think you should.
Medea actually offers him a genuine and very fond smile. Of course you did.
Absolutely.
Yes,
but I think
these-
that is how we should start with the 8th. And if that is not enough, then we should move on to the commissars. I will definitely want to know why they have not taken similar actions already. And I really hope that they have some very good answers, because if not, I am going to, if they don't have that, I'm going to let Commissar Histar take care of them, because Commissariat tends to deal with their own problems internally, and I have no doubt that he's capable of doing that. But then they will need other commissars, to put it plainly. And if that still does not help, then yes, their weapons can be taken away, and let's just say 10 or 20 Lehman Russes can be, arranged for them, when they level their entire armament at men like that and tell them to march in the opposite direction, then they had better march. And that is, as far as I'm concerned, that is how this should be dealt with. That leaves our primary mission. And as far as I see it, we need to investigate specifically. They did say it was a surgical strike against the capital, which makes sense, because that way they could bring in reinforcements. But I would like to know what their first and second target was after that, if they went for any specific holy sites first, if there was anything where they attacked in force initially, and then we should investigate those places. For us to sneak into Port Hadley at this point is suicidal. They are all entrenched in there. We would never be able to, just walk through the streets and not be seen. Me in particular. So we are not here on, let's face it, we are not first and foremost here on a combat mission. We are here to investigate.
Yes.
And we are here to investigate in a place where combat is probably going to be completely unavoidable. That doesn't mean that we don't need to investigate. And as I said, I think we should start by looking in the first places they attacked, because if they were that surgical, there's every reason to think that they knew precisely what they were going for. And if it involves these geometric cubes, shapes, triangles, pyramids, whatever, they would probably have gone for them first. We can't be certain that they actually found them.
Well,
but even if... Oh, sir, please.
That makes me wonder, though.
Sure.
Wouldn't most people think that they would go for the thing that they really want first?
Yes.
But what if they're being smart about it and didn't go for the thing they really wanted first to distract and go for something else in the hidden?
That is an option, but if that's the case, then I'm sure Akelon can confirm this, but there are numerous holy sites across the face of the Piety of Seth.
Of course.
And we would never be able to guess which one it would then be. I think we should still start by looking at the first two, and if that does not turn up anything useful, then we should definitely go through the list of what else is here with a fine-tooth comb.
Okay.
Yes.
How do we get from point to point?
That's why I asked for transportation. They should, the general already told us that we can have either a chimera or a centaur placed at our disposal. A centaur is quicker, but a chimera is far more heavily armored and armed. I think this chimera is probably preferable in that situation. It's also an all-terrain vehicle. It's tracked.
Medea puts her slowly because she has no idea what she's talking about.
No, but she's saying that the chimera is an all-terrain vehicle. It is tracked.
It is adorable and utilitarian.
Yes.
But
as long as it has something resembling wheels, I can drive it.
It does. Well, it doesn't have wheels. It's got, as I said, it has tracks. But what it does have is a lot of armor and firing slits. Yes.
So, yes, all we need now is a squad of soldiers with las weapons. In fact,
I believe that you can pack 10 guardsmen into a chimera. So, seeing as we are 4, if we talk to Commissar Histar and have him bring us 6 of the most loyal men that he can think of, and strong-willed for that matter, then I should think that we're doing pretty well. When we get to our destinations, however, their primary job should be to protect the chimera, not to actually come in with us.
No, of course.
Just make sure that our exit point is still there.
Yes. Same strategy as with the stormtroopers back on Safano Luna, basically.
Yes, pretty much. Exactly.
Also,
dun, 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 dun.
not those stormtroopers.
Not those stormtroopers.
No, but that is what I think about every time you say stormtrooper.
It's fair enough.
Would you prefer I say Tempestus Scions? Is that easier?
Then
not
I'm
you,
just
but Bart,
looking
yes.
at pistons.
Okay. Out of character question. The one holy site mentioned, which is the one closest to us by about, I don't know, probably within seeing distance of Port Calling, was the Abbey of St. Elena's Mount, which was the original Sororitas stronghold on the planet.
Yes, that would be an excellent place to go and have a look, because in all likelihood, anything particularly tainted would be under their protection, seeing as, the strength of faith protect.
I mean, if it's tainted, then again, in character, Akelon brings this up, and there should probably be a picture on the cogitator of this as well. And I know it's your job to describe things, Heine. Would you mind if I describe?
No. Go ahead.
Basically, what it looks like is that it's a small island connected to the mainland where Port Calling is by a narrow causeway, which I imagine by now is probably gone. But standing at the tallest point on the mountain is an immense statue of the Emperor, standing 80 meters in height, dressed in full armor, and its arms held out as if offering benediction to the people of Port Calling. I imagine that isn't there anymore, though. No. If it is, if not, it might be defiled in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Or, against all the odds, we may find sisters who have barricaded themselves in the holiest of holy. It is possible they would never give up such a place unless they were killed to the very last.
I would welcome such a blessed situation. But yes, so if we work on the basis that we head there first, we can discuss that with the general as soon as
Yes.
possible. I
Okay.
think perhaps though, for the sake of being prepared, might ask that we get some rest
I
first.
think that's an idea. We can. We should ask for 6 men and the Chimera to be ready in the morning, and then set out.
You are-
If the individual locations are too far away, we will need a wheeler lander to
Yes.
airlift us there with the vehicle.
You are team leader. Unless you wish to assign one of us to speak to the general, then it is within your purview to do so.
Well, then that's what we'll do. Let's have some. Let us get some rest, and I will go and talk to the. I will go and talk to the commissar and to the general, and then.
Cool. And
Well, we should talk with the bastards who didn't want to fight.
Yes, but that's in the morning.
Okay, I'm gonna go
Okay.
pee. Be right back.
yes. Speaking of P, I think we'll take our second
Second break.
break for the evening,
Yes.
and we'll be right back.